So I hope you enjoyed my first knockout bracket video. I was very sleepy. I couldn't really fall asleep that night. The draw happened at 5 o'clock in the morning. I want to provide a more complete analysis of my quarterfinal bracket, which at the least will see Man City winning the Champions League. But I have to go with the commercialization factor. I have to go with Haaland and Mbappe, the next two faces of world football, to play in the final. Now, this will remind us of 2009 when Messi faced off against Ronaldo, or actually, this was 2011. No, it was 2009, right? I remember correctly. Ronaldo, he lost to Messi in 2009, so I believe we will see kind of the next big match in the final. Like we saw Ronaldo and Messi early on in their careers, and I believe the same thing is going to happen this year. Now, the 2009 final between Ronaldo and Messi was held at Rome. It's Rome, that's Camacho of the year 24. Pep Guardiola, in his Champions League career in Europe, he has 27 losses all time in Europe, so he could remain undefeated before facing off against Paris in Kylian, which, if Man City appear in the final, their 27th appearance in the Champions League final for the country of England can occur against Paris. Now, two Spanish teams in there on one side of the bracket, Barcelona and Atletico. If Spain were to make it to the final against Man City, they could appear in their 31st Champions League final. Wembley's Camacho of 85 and Atletico have the easiest path because they go up against Dortmund. They don't go up against PSG. So is that a guarantee Atletico make it to the final? It's not a guarantee, but definitely is a strong narrative. Now, what I do like is that Pep is 53 years of age right now, as it is. And Mbappe's Camacho 53. So Pep could face off against Mbappe when he's 53 years of age. And as we see Guardiola with 9, and that's 16, that's right. Okay. So how many wins does he have in the Champions League as manager of Manchester City? So that's 16, that's 22, that's 33, that's 40. He has a total of 56 wins as manager of Manchester City. He can win his 58th match against Real Madrid, Club de Football. And he can win his 59th match at London, England, if he were to go up against Arsenal the next round. Or if a couple of matches end in draws or even losses with Man City still advancing, then his 59th loss could occur in the final or at least in the semi-final against Arsenal at London, England. But I believe Man City are going to win every single match in regulation. So Pep Guardiola, I believe, is going to win his 61st Champions League match with Manchester City on a day of 6-1, which would be June the 1st, the 6th month in the first day of the month. Now, Luis Enrique did manage Barcelona as well. I believe Luis Enrique can make it to the final on 6-1 against Erling Haaland. And Pep Guardiola is also Camacho Paris Saint-Germain Football Club. If we want to break down other further narratives of a PSG Man City final, again, I'm going with the commercialization factor instead of, Pep is Spanish, can go up against Atletico or go up against his former side, Barcelona. So Barcelona returned to Wembley because don't forget, Guardiola won the 2011 final at Wembley as manager of Barcelona against Manchester City. So that's kind of what we see right there. Now, what I do like about Luis Enrique is he can make it to the final 9 years after 2015 by going up against Erling Haaland, number 9. And notice that the goal scorer, Luis Suarez, in that final, he put Barcelona ahead for good. 2-1 against Juventus, then it became 3-1. He was the goal scorer that won the final for Enrique. So don't be surprised if Enrique makes the final 9 years after 2015. He's now manager of Paris Saint-Germain. So from the standpoint of Enrique up against his former side, I believe Enrique will appear in the final 9 years later. And now let's see if Pep Guardiola's birthday has anything to do with who he faces off against in the Champions League final. Well, first off, I want to notice how Atletico is Gamache of Wembley. Well, it is true that it is Paris Saint-Germain that also has Gamache of 85, so who's to say that Paris Saint-Germain, Gamache of 85, makes it to the final at Wembley? And what I do like too with his birthday, end day included from his birthday to the final is 19 weeks and 3 days. That kind of mirrors 193 when you think about it. That's Gamache Paris Saint Germain right there. Now let's go to Man City and European football to provide more context. So if they win every match in the Champions League, going 11, well, I mean, I'm just bewildered too. I mean, they can go undefeated in every match in the Champions League. It just, I know, I'm at a loss for words too. If they win every match the remainder of the way, they will finish with 79 wins in the Champions League to become champion. That is, if matches don't go to extra time or if they don't end in draws. But I believe we're going to see a very dominant Man City to end the remainder of the Champions League. They have 29 losses right now in the Champions League. It is London that has Gamache 29, and also Bayern, the last team to win the final at Wembley, is Gamache 29. So pretty funny how they're still at 29 losses as we enter the quarterfinals of the Champions League. And now let's go to PSG in European football as well. I need to do this on Google. Now, it is PSG that's Gamache 15, and we could see, that the modern version of Ronaldo and Messi 15 years later, that'd be Haaland versus Mbappe in the final. Now, this was before Ronaldo moved to Real Madrid, so this could be before, Mbappe moves to Real Madrid. So, pretty funny how these events kind of mirror each other very closely. And, PSG, ultimately, they could be going for their 85th win in the Champions League at Wembley. Wembley, Gamache of 85. Let's say if they win 3 of their next 4 matches, they could enter the final with 84 matches. And enter with 41 losses against Haaland. It's Haaland that's Gamache 41. But overall, the narratives very strongly are going to be pointing towards Haaland and Mbappe. It makes a lot of sense from a commercialization aspect. Napoli are very bad. So if we're talking about it from that way, it'd be. We got to see more, a little bit from Barcelona. And if Atletico were to, they could be going for their 53rd win or enter the semifinal with 53 wins against Mbappe. Mbappe's Gamache of 51. And they could enter with 27 losses against Paris, too. So those narratives look to be very, very strong for Atletico to advance to the semifinal against PSG. And now, likewise, let's go to Ancelotti and European football. because how many losses does he have right now? So his personal stats in Europe, if you're not familiar with the site, this is kind of how you get to the splits of the managers. Well, his 43rd loss as manager in the Champions League, against Manchester. Manchester's Camacho 43. So that's all. That's all that I have. We will see what happens, but this is a more complete analysis of what can possibly transpire in the knockout. Again, no guarantee if PSG is the opponent against Man City, but I do feel very strongly we will see PSG against Man City in the final, and if not, then we will see a Spanish side in the final. But from a commercialization aspect, it doesn't look very bad at all. I mean, Haaland and Mbappe, that would be a very good storyline. But so could Pep Guardiola against Barcelona. But they make it to a final this soon without Lionel Messi. Something tells me that Messi is going to be immortalized in a different light for Barcelona.